It's been very, very interesting this past half year being part of the process, how to set up the competition, what were we looking for, what is important in listening to the contestants who all had to be between 17 and 25 of age. That's what we were focusing on. Male singers as well as female. And who knows, maybe next year we have some guys who really practice. And we'll end up here, yeah. Don Purcell, who also teaches at George Mason University, and Conetra Miller both had written such wonderful evaluations for each of the contestants, not just the 5 you will see today as finalists, but all of the many, many. I don't know how many hours this took you, how many times of listening back or sweating the details, but this is really what makes an inspired teacher, and I want to say thank you both for that. Yeah. We had many inquiries, and we had a good number of people then not submitting their material for whatever reason. We ended up with a bit more than 40 from all around the world, one from Korea, one from Japan, 2 from Europe, and otherwise from the United States and Canada, who submitted their material, which means not just the $25 application fee, but going into a studio and probably paying your musicians and really putting a lot of thought and care into making a beautiful arrangement and putting yourself out there. So I really want to thank our 5 finalists. You will get to know them better, and the judges have not looked at the bios yet, but we will have Alyssa Allgood, we have Alex Hamburger, we have Lauren Kayla Holland, who is a 17-year-old high school student. Everybody else is already a little bit older, right here in DC. We have Nicole Roberts and Danielle Wirtz. They will all come up in due order. The winner today everybody will get an award, and everybody will win some money too. So I don't know if that was told to you before, but hey, it's good. The winner will also get a chance to have a brief rehearsal tomorrow at Blues Alley, and then sing a couple of songs at the 8 p.m. show. My name is Randall Rossman. I'm the Vice President of Programming for the Ella Fitzgerald Foundation. The foundation was founded by Ella Fitzgerald herself in 1993. I got involved. I was lucky enough to meet Ella multiple times when I was growing up. My father was her lawyer, and my mom was the archivist for her estate, so you could say I've grown up around Ella. So one of my earliest memories of hers was going over there and actually swimming in her swimming pool one weekend, and her niece babysat me while she and my dad had some work to do. Ella was, kind of one of a kind. She was a very quiet person, a very private person. For those of you who were there last night, Patty Austin mentioned she had kind of her stage persona, and then she had her offstage persona. Harry Connick Jr. actually convinced her, mainly by pestering her, to do a song with him at I think it was her 70th birthday party. He was just a young 20-something-year-old fresh out of New Orleans. And Ella really didn't like the spotlight. She didn't want the spotlight. She was very happy, really just being in the background. She started the foundation as a way to help out people who came from underprivileged backgrounds. She was involved in the civil rights movement back in the day. She would probably be very involved in it now where she's still alive. But the foundation itself, as you see on the back of your program, really focuses on 4 things. Music education and assistance,
medical research specifically in the area of diabetes, which Ella suffered from, especially later on in life. Social issues, affordable housing, food banks, things like that, because Ella herself was homeless for a time and she knew what it was like to live on the streets. She did some amusing, she was a runner's girl to make some money while she was homeless. So for those of you who are on the younger end, she literally ran numbers for bookies as a way to make some money in New York City. She was lucky enough to perform all over the world, and she has fans from all over. It's wonderful. If you check out the Facebook page, just Ella Fitzgerald, you'll see people commenting from all over the world, Switzerland, Brazil, Japan, literally all over. So it's a wonderful thing for us to see on a daily basis. Plus, you should check it out just because we're trying to get to 2 million followers, so give us a favor, we're almost there. But Ella always had a thing for young people. She was a big supporter of the arts. She was lucky enough to win an NEA Jazz Masters Award. So we're really happy to start this competition with Harry and hope to provide all you young singers a chance to go shine a little brighter. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much for giving a look back, a little historic look back. But it's just as important and inspiring for us to look up front to the future and ahead. And that's why we also have our keynote speaker here, Miss Angela Stribling. Angela, please come. You have appeared daily, or should I say even nightly, on Black Entertainment Network as a news anchor woman. You have a very sexy late radio show.
It's very sexy.
Just the voice, just the voice. And just as a vocalist yourself, performing in Japan and internationally and back here, you put the business into music business.
Yeah.
And that's so important for all of us because that whole myth of the starving artist is really just that and should be having a stake driven through, I think.
I think so too.
We need to thrive, we need to feel good about ourselves, wanting to raise families or having a stable home. And that's really the future and the present for us in the music business. So here you are.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Christiana. First of all, congratulations to all of the contestants, all the finalists. Where are you? You can stand up and we can acknowledge you if you don't mind. Bravo to you for taking the lead and following your dreams. Thank you very much. So I'm Angela Stribling. I'm a host of, as Christiana just said, I have a sexy late night radio show. It's called Pillow Talk with Angela. And the show, we call it a provocative oral aphrodisiac, if you will. But basically, we talk, it's a relationship show. So all of the things that happen with adults, relationship issues, if you're single, if you're dating, if you're married, just things that you go through, and you might not have a chance to get therapy, or you might not have someone to talk to about these things. My show, people call me and they just tell me all their personal business because no one can see them, so they're free to just do that. And how does that relate to what I do as a singer? Well, in trying to follow my dream, like these young ladies, right out of college, and I have a degree from the Fashion Institute. I love fashion and thought that was going to be my path. But I've always been a singer, and that was kind of a hobby, and felt like, this is something I love to do, but it's just for me. And I studied classical singing, and, sing at every opportunity. Whenever my parents had an event, they'd push me out there to entertain their friends. And it was just always something I loved, but I felt like, this is just something I do, it's not necessarily what I'm going to do for a living, although that would be great. And just did a lot of other things that I thought would satisfy me, but there was always this yearning, this thing. If you're an artist, you can't not create. And that's why I wanted to acknowledge and applaud the singers who are here today for going for it. Because you've got to believe in yourself, and you've got to surround yourself with people who believe in your dream. That's key. Because when you're an artist or you're trying to do anything, even an entrepreneur, when you're trying to start something new, something that hasn't been done, there are many people who can't see your vision, and that's okay. You know, they'll say, oh, maybe, you know, stick with your 9 to 5 and the security, and, you know, at least you know you're going to have benefits and, you know, this, that, and the other. But do you really? Because when you're working for someone else, there are no guarantees. So how about doing something that you love? And so that's how the singing came into play. So I have been a broadcaster and a singer all along, both. I love them both, and I feel that they feed each other. They're both creative entities, and you know, it's hard sometimes, especially when you're starting out, to rely on, you know, maybe a gig a month, or if you're just trying to get some attention. People don't know that you're this great singer, so you've got to do a lot of work to get the word out. So, you know, these days it's all about social media, and it's all about getting as many gigs as possible, and just, you know, letting people know. But in the meantime, there's nothing wrong with doing whatever you need to do to make sure that you're eating and you're able to pay your bills. So, you know, from the broadcasting perspective, I was on WHUR radio. I actually started with them without telling him exactly how old I am. I started, in the late 80s. I started with WHUR, just whenever anyone wanted a day off, you know, and when I went over there to try to get a job, they did like my voice and, you know, said, hey, you can come over here and, you know, do voiceovers and imaging and things like that. And it, you know, just kind of grew, and I ended up getting my own shows, started working at BET, you know, hosting Screen Scene. I don't know how many of you have heard The Quiet Storm radio format, but my former co-host created that, Melvin Lindsay, right? It started right here in Washington, D.C., and now it's heard around the world. So proud of that. And so I would sing all along, and I used to study with this wonderful woman, Ronnie Wells, and she started the East Coast Jazz Festival, and which is still thriving. Unfortunately, we lost Ronnie a few years ago. But I was studying classical voice at the time, but I loved jazz, and in fact, I was hosting Bet on Jazz. You know, BET had a 24-hour jazz network. And what I loved about that is, unfortunately, jazz musicians were kind of the stepchild. To me, it's the best music ever, but they don't get the commercial success that a lot of other music genres get. So with Bet on Jazz, you know, it was a 24-hour jazz network, front and center. It was a great platform for a lot of jazz musicians. And so that was my job, to host it, and, you know, along with Ramsey Lewis and Lou Rawls. We were the 3 hosts of that. May he rest in peace. I can't believe Lou Rawls is gone. But anyway, so that was, you know, that was a great thing. And Ronnie would say, you love jazz so much, why are you singing classical music? And I love that too, but she said, why don't, you know, get out there and start singing jazz. So, you know, I started studying with her, and she taught me the importance of not just learning songs and singing them in your shower or the living room, but she said, you know, get out there and sing. And I said, I know, but people know me. They, you know, I'm kind of a public figure in radio and television. If I get out there and bomb, I've got a lot to lose. She goes, no. You get out there, you've got to start somewhere. Start where you are. So, you know, and I had been in her class, I had learned my songs, I, you know, was able to remember my lyrics, and she said, you know, just start. So the way she would set up her classes was, you know, you study for a few weeks, and at the end of her sessions, everyone goes out and you have to perform in front of this. It was kind of a safe audience because they really just wanted us to win, and it was very encouraging. And that was really good, but it gave us the confidence to get up there and start singing. So from there, I started gaining a little bit of confidence and started singing a lot more. And a lot more. Ended up moving to New York. I'd sing at the Soul Cafe, which is no longer there. Started booking gigs at the Blue Note. I'm like, okay, let's do this. And, you know, it just kind of took on a life of its own, which started as the love, maybe the need to sing. And with someone believing in me enough to say, you know what, no. Don't wait until you think it's good enough. Get out there and start singing from where you are. And so one of the things I just, you know, if you're not already doing it, find a place, you know, if it's a little place that you can sit in, open mic, and just start singing in front of people as much as possible. And one of those sayings, sing as if nobody's watching, or dance as if no one's watching, whatever, however it goes. What I'd like for you to do is just do it. And the more you sing out there in front of people, the more something really kind of happens, that's different from singing when, just in front of your friends and family. But when you're out there in the spotlight, what Ronnie said is to not put the focus on you, because that'll just drive you crazy. Your nerves will just take over. But realize that this gift is kind of flowing through you, and put the attention back on the audience. This is something that they are coming here to receive from you. So it's not really about you, it's about these accomplished musicians who you're sharing the stage with, and it's about the people who are being blessed by your beautiful voices. So, once I got the confidence to start getting out there and not really being, I'm still shy every single time I open the mic, be it radio, be it hosting an event, be it singing. I get butterflies every time, and I'm grateful for that, because that means a little bit of humility and taking the ego as much as you can out of the equation, and opening yourself up to just being free and just letting it flow. And so when I was living in New York and singing at one of these cafes, my saxophonist had some hookup with Hennessy and said, "Oh, Angela, I don't know if you'd be interested in this, but they're looking for someone to sing in Myanmar." Now, I had never been to Asia, and unfortunately, my American point of view of Asia was, it's just Asia, not just, a completely different, I knew it was a different continent with different nationalities and different cultures, but I didn't really appreciate how different the cultures were until I went over there. So my first trip was with Hennessy to Myanmar, Burma. And so our job was just to perform. It was for 1 week, every night. We would be on the top of this Orient Express ship, which I only thought there was the Orient Express train, but there's a beautiful ship. And so, we rocked it. We were like, okay, let's do this, compliments of Hennessy. And so they'd bring in their different distributors every night. And so our job was just to make them feel good. And, we had our repertoire, and it went really well. So well that Hennessy said, okay, they loved you. Let's do this Europe and Asia tour. So that was a month-long event. So from there, they really liked us. And I got an agent over there and started performing overseas a lot. In fact, for about 7 years, I'd go to Tokyo for 3 months at a time, leave there. I'd go to Bangkok, I'd go to India, I'd go to Hong Kong, so many places. And I ended up just from, my craft, making a lot of money and making a lot of friends and sharing the music with people I never would have had an opportunity to meet. And this was all from being a jazz singer. So I wanted to share that story with you because not only for the love of singing, even just for yourself, but so many people are blessed because of what you do, So what I'd like to do, if I can, for the singers, the finalists who are here, I'd like to meet you, and if you can just individually stand up, just whoever wants to go first, and just tell me about your journey a little bit. If you could just tell me your name and why you are a jazz singer and what you hope to get out of this experience, whether you win or not. And Lauren, I believe, I met you last night. She was here. If everyone can give her a round of applause. She was here last night. I had the opportunity to bring Patty Austin on stage for the Ella at 100 celebration. That was a great concert, wasn't it? So Lauren introduced herself and said she was one of the finalists. If you could just stand up, introduce yourself, and the questions I just asked.
Hello, everybody. My name is Lauren Holland. I'm a senior at Wilson High School here, and actually recently found a new love for jazz, and I plan on learning a lot more next year when I go to college. But out of this experience, I hope to learn a lot and continue learning from it. So, yeah.
Why jazz?
I realize it's like the root of all music, and if you know jazz and you're a really good jazz artist, every other genre will just be
Good. Thank you very much. Okay, the next brave soul. Oh, how about Alex Hamburger? Thank you.
Hi, I'm Alex. I grew up in Washington, D.C., but I'm a senior at Student Purchase in New York. And I guess I came to jazz because my dad's a musician from the D.C. area. And I grew up playing flute and saxophone and kind of found singing about 6 years ago. So, yeah.
What does your dad play?
He's a drummer.
Oh, is jazz?
A little bit of everything, but that's kind of how I found jazz. Yeah.
Oh, very nice. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Alyssa, all good?
My name is Alyssa. I'm actually here from Chicago. So very excited to be here. And I graduated from college a couple years ago, and I'm out kind of just gigging and doing kind of as you're talking about. And what I really found to love about jazz is that it allows me to be a part of something that's so much bigger than myself. You know, thinking about the rich history and how I can reflect that and continue kind of developing that as well.
That's so good. Thank you. You know, I want to just pause for a second and say, you know, I mentioned that I used to host a show on BET had a jazz network. Unfortunately, it didn't get the commercial support that it needed, you know, which is unfortunately so typical of jazz. The, you know, sponsors would sponsor hip hop and rap and all the other things that were going on BET. But, you know, we lasted, I think, you know, maybe 4 or 5 years, and then they couldn't really justify keeping the network on. So I'm always so happy to see young artists who take an interest in jazz and carrying this music forward. So just want to say thank you for that.
Oh, on that note, I mean, some of us will find day jobs in the industry as a music promoter, as a festival booker, as a curator in any organization. So yeah, we bring that will inform our work as well as we go into other parts of the work life.
Absolutely right. That's right, because a lot of people start off the talent route and don't necessarily decide to stick with that route, and there's so many platforms.
But you don't have to abandon it.
And you don't have to abandon it. You can do what I'm doing. You can. I'm a broadcaster and a jazz singer, and I'm very proud of both. And like I said, they kind of feed each other. How about Danielle Wirtz?
I'm Danielle. I graduated from college just this past May from the University of Miami.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I actually fell into singing jazz sort of by accident. I just love to sing, and there was an opening in a big band, and I didn't know anything about jazz, so I sang the national anthem for my audition, and I ended up getting it, and they were like, "This is the music you have to check out," and I fell in love with it. And I guess for me, what's special about jazz is that it's always different. And it's exciting because no matter how much you rehearse something, it can always end up being different. And what happens in the moment is always really unique to whoever you're playing with. So it's really exciting.
Thank you. Very nice. And finally, Nicole Roberts.
Hello, I'm Nicole.
Hi, Nicole.
I graduated from Berkeley College of Music this past May.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thank you. I studied music business there, and I'm actually moving back to Massachusetts in like 2 weeks, so I'm putting my suitcase in my car and showing up. But I really want to do music venue management. It's kind of my ultimate goal today. Because, you know, it's every day, so
Today.
Here's 5 minutes. But I actually kind of was on the rejecting music train for a long time because my family is a very musical family, and I grew up around a lot of jazz and musical theater. And then when I was in high school, I was like, I'm going to study business. Like, I'm not, you know, doing anything. So I had kind of the opposite situation where my parents and my friends were all like, you really love music and you should just do that. And I was like, okay. So I actually had to be pushed into it a little bit as opposed to just studying business, which is what I want to do.
So now that you got the push, how are you feeling about sticking with being a jazz singer?
I think it's something that I want to keep as a very large part of my life. I still want to do music business mainly, but I think I want this to be more prominent than I originally thought I wanted it to be.
Claim it. Yes, that's very, very nice. I I can, this is all for you ladies, and so I just want to keep you involved in what I'm doing right here today. So, what does Ella Fitzgerald mean to you? To any of you? They're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, yes.
Pretty much everything, actually. She's kind of the most influential person of my life. So, yeah, I when I was younger, I locked myself in my room and just sung along here for hours.
Very nice. Anyone else? And you don't have to answer if you don't have one. Okay.
I'll go. Ella definitely taught me that the lyrics are more important than anything else.
That what is?
The lyrics.
Ah, yeah.
For me, she was actually the first, an Ella recording was the first jazz recording that I ever heard. And it was one of the first times that I think I listened to a song and it wasn't like harmony or the melody that stuck in my head. It was like, wow, that story really meant a lot to me, and I hadn't really experienced that before I listened to her. So that was really
It's funny that you say the story, because as a singer, the interpretation is the most important thing, right? Because especially in jazz, these songs have been around for so long, and so many people sang these songs. The last thing you want is for someone to say, okay, not my Funny Valentine again. So your job as a vocalist, your job is to interpret and then make it your own, yet you can't destroy the writer's idea, so you've got to keep the integrity of the song together, yet communicate that feeling to whoever is listening. You've got a big job. And when you're able to tell that story in your music, in your song, that's what your people are coming there for. When you can do that, have you ever heard a singer or a musician, maybe you're hearing them for the first time, but as soon as they start performing, you're like, oh, have you ever had that experience? That's what you want to do to them, right? That's what we want. That's why we love music. If you're just up there reciting a song, that's cool, if you're just having a recital. But you're not going to touch anybody. You're not going to move anybody. And so, I think that's where the butterflies come in. It's like, okay. You want to get out of yourself. You don't want to be thinking about, okay, this dress is a little too tight. I probably shouldn't have worn this, or my feet hurt, or, I hope I remember my lyrics. You don't want to be singing a song and thinking about all of that stuff. You want to lose yourself. You want to lose yourself into every song, and that is your gift to all of your listeners. Right? Any questions? I'm like scared that I'm going to say something to you. I'm on your side. So there's the final competition is today.
It's right now.
So is everybody ready for this?
Yeah.
I am so ready, and I'm honored that you allowed me to be here and just be here with you today on this very important day. Patty Austin really kicked it off last night, and she, if anyone was to do the Ella tribute, I'm so happy that it was Patty Austin. I've been a fan of hers for decades, and she is one of those, she's a singer's singer. And she's so funny. You never know what's going to come out of her mouth. And she brings it every time. But she told these stories about how Ella was so shy. She said that she would be up until she hit the stage. She'd be back there like a little wallflower. But as soon as she hit the stage, she would transform into the Ella that we all came to know and love. And so that's what I'm looking for. That's what we're all looking for you ladies today and moving forward. Just give it all you got and try to lose your own self into the music and keep singing. Just keep singing.
Every honeybee fills with jealousy when they see you out with me. I don't blame them, goodness knows. Honeysuckle rose, When you're passing by, flowers droop inside, and I know the reason why. You're much sweeter, goodness knows. Honeysuckle rose. Don't buy sugar, you just have to touch my cup. You're my sugar. It's sweet when you stir it up. When I'm taking sips from your tasty lips, seems the honey fairly drips. Your confection, goodness knows. Honeysuckle rose. Every honeybee fills with jealousy when they see you out with me. I don't blame them, goodness knows. You're my honeysuckle rose. When you're passing by, flowers droop inside, and I know the reason why. You're much sweeter, goodness knows. Honeysuckle rose, honeysuckle rose. You're my honeysuckle rose. Thank you. Cigarette holder, wood twigs me over my shoulder. She digs me out, cattin', that's and all. Baby, shall we go out skipping? Careful of me go. She's flipping, speaks Latin, that's and all. She's nobody's fool, so I'm playing it cool as can be. I'll give it a whirl, but I ain't for no girl catching me. Switch or ruin me a telephone number. Well, you know I'm doing my rumbas with no and that my sandal. Sweet-a-dip-ba-da-ba-da-ba, sweet-a-dip-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da. She's nobody's fool, so I'm playing it cool as can be. I'll give it a whirl, but I ain't for no girl catching me. Switch or ruin me a telephone number. Well, you know I'm doing my rumbas with no and then my sandal. Thank you.
Miss Alex Hamburger, please.
Hi. I will be singing Ain't Misbehavin' and On the Sunny Side of the Street. Your type of man is rare. I know you really care. That's why my conscience never sleeps. When you're away somewhere, sure was my lucky day when fate sent you my way and made you mine alone for keeps. Ditto to all you say.
one to talk with all by myself. No one to walk with, but I'm happy on the shelf. Ain't misbehaving, I'm saving all my love for you. I know for certain the one that I love. I'm through with flirting, it's just you I'm thinking of. Ain't misbehaving, I'm saving my love for you. Like Jack Horner in the corner, don't go nowhere, what do I care? Your kisses are worth waiting for. Believe me, I don't stay out late, don't care to go. I'm home about 8, just me and that radio. Ain't misbehaving, I'm saving my love for you. Bove day, bove ba ba do, ba 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 day do, bove day, ba 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 day, ba ba over ba 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 do do we ba ba ya, bove ba ba da ba ba bo, ba your day do, va your day do. Like Jack Horner in the corner, don't go nowhere, what do I care? Your kisses are worth waiting for. Believe me, I don't stay out late, don't care to go. I'm home about 8, just me and my radio. Ain't misbehaving, I'm saving all my love for you. Ain't misbehaving, I'm saving my love for you.
Thank you.
Grab your coat and grab your hat. Leave your worries on the doorstep. Just direct your feet to the sunny side of the street. Can't you hear that pitter pat? And that happy tune is my step. Life can be so sweet on the sunny side of the street. I used to walk in the shade with my blues on parade. Oh, but I'm not afraid. This rover has gone a Hoover. If I ever had a cent, I'd be rich as Rockefeller. Gold dust round my feet on the sunny side of the street. Bo ba ba do, vai ba over do, be vo ba vo vo davio, be ba bo, be bo bo be be, bo ba ba over ba bo, bo ba ba do we ba vo we da va va de bo, ba bo ba ba bo ve va de bo, bo bo do we bo ya ba de bo, va bo bo vo we ba bo de. Ba ba ve, ba de vo we, vo we be do vo ba we, vo do vo da ba ba yo, so vo do be vo ve a ba vo vo ve ba vo dwi da, vo ba vo we ba 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 bo be bo be, vo ba ba. Grab your coat and grab your hat. Leave your worries on the doorstep. Just direct your feet to the sunny side of the street. Can't you hear that pitter pat? beat tune is my step. Life can be so sweet on the sunny side of the street. I used to walk in the shade with my blues on parade. Oh, but I'm not afraid. This rover has gone over. If I never had a cent, I'd be rich as Rockefeller. Gold dust round my feet on the sunny, on the sunny, on the sunny side of the street.
Thank you. All right, so I'm going to get started with a song that Ella recorded several times with the Basie Band, and I was lucky enough to be in the audience and hear them perform it live yesterday, so I was singing along. This is Shiny Stockings. Those silk, shiny stockings that I wear when I'm with you, I wear because you told me that you dig that crazy hue. When we go to a dance, do you think of romance? Oh no, you take a glance at those shiny stockings. Then came along some chick with great big stockings too. You smiled, then you left me lonely. Why, I never knew. I guess I'll have to I'll go find a new guy who digs my shiny stockings too. You that way, oh, baby, do you the way, oh, baby, do you the way, oh, baby, the way, day, ba the way, ba day, ba do the day, oh, ba do ya do ba do ya ba day, oh. So yo ba 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 do day. Show da do ba ya do ba do ba 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 da ya de ah ba ba da let am de ba de so ba 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 so da da ba da da ba da da ba da da do ba da ah so da da ya ba ba ya ba 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 so ba da lo say yo ba le ba ya de ba 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 so do ya de ba ba those silk shiny stockings that I wear when I'm with you, I wear
because you told me that you dig that crazy hue. When we go to a dance, do you think of romance? Oh no, you take a glance at those shiny stockings. Then came along some chick with great big stockings too. You smiled, then you left me lonely. Why, I never knew. I guess I'll have to I'll go find a new guy who digs my shiny stockings too. Ba-doodly-a-diddly-way, a new guy who digs my shiny stockings too. Ba-doodly-a, ba-doodly-a-day, ba-doo-way. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm going to continue with one of my personal favorites, and it also happens to be the composer's birthday today, the great Duke Ellington. This is I'm Beginning to See the Light. I never cared much for moonlit skies. I never wink back at fireflies. But now that the stars are in your eyes, I'm beginning to see the light. I never went in for afterglow or candlelight on that mistletoe. But now that you've turned the lamp down low, I'm beginning to see the light. Well, I used to ramble through the park, shadow boxing in the dark. Then you came and you caused a spark. That's a 4-alarm fire now. I never made love by lantern shine. I never saw rainbows in my wine. But now that your lips are burning mine, I'm beginning to see the light. I never cared much for moonlit skies. I never wink back at those silly fireflies. But now that the stars are in your eyes, I'm beginning to see the light. I never went in for afterglow or candlelight on that mistletoe. But now when you have turned that lamp down low, I can see the light. Yes, I used to ramble through the park, shadow boxing in the dark. Then you came and you caused a spark. That's a 4-alarm fire now. I never made love by lantern shine. I never saw rainbows in my wine. But now that your lips are burning mine, I can't see the light. Ba-do-da-da-da-da-day, sa-da-da-da-day, sa-bo-ba-ba-ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-
de ooh ow. Shadoo ba doo love whip do that. Shadoo lay ow. Shaboom bum did that do ya dum be bam boom boom be ba doo ya day ba 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 do did day yo better do did day ow. Shadoo you do that bo do that day yo. Say do day da moon bo bo that day ow. Shia dilia do bam bo that day ow. Shadoo ya dilia boom bam do that day. So bo so day so bo 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 da bo da 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 do bum do bim do bim do boy so bo 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 boy so ba bo da da bo da da ya da da do da so bo ba do be ba bo be boy bo boy so bo bo boy so bo bo boy ba bo bo be ow. Down do that so dilia bo 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 ba bo do be ba bo ya day. ba-diddly-yadu, da-diddly-yadu, ba-da-da-diddly-yadu, ba-bo, ba-diddly-yadu. I never cared much for moonlit skies. I never wink back at fireflies. But now that the stars are in your eyes, I'm beginning to see the light. I never went in for afterglow or candlelight on that mistletoe. But now that you've turned the lamp down low, I can see the light. I used to ramble through the park, shadow boxing in the dark. Then you came and you caused a spark. That's a 4-alarm fire now. I never made love by lantern shine. I never saw rainbows in my wine. But now that your lips are burning mine, I'm beginning to see the light. Yes, I'm beginning to see the light. Oh, I'm digging that light of yours. Badulia de au shabo, badulia delia bo, badula bambo, babo, bwidly au. So badulia de la bab, sudden dead dead day, diddle boo, diddle diddle boy, badulia boo. So yes, I'm beginning to see the light. Oh, I'm beginning to see the light. Thank you.
Miss Danielle Wirtz.
Thank you so much. The first tune that I'm going to sing is called Just When We're Falling in Love. And I actually didn't realize this until a few weeks ago, that it was an instrumental tune first, and that instrumental tune is called Robin's Nest. So hope you enjoy. You wouldn't be angry with me, would you, if I perhaps misunderstood you? Why have I fallen out just when we're falling in love? Tomorrow when skies are getting starry, wouldn't we get to feeling sorry? Why have I fallen out just when we're falling in love? There'll be some differences that get us, that naturally upset us. But people who've met us, they all say we go hand in glove. We've gotten along so very nicely, baby, and that's my point precisely. Why have I fallen out just when we're falling in love? You wouldn't be angry with me, would you? If perhaps I misunderstood you. Why have I fallen out just when we're falling in love? Tomorrow when skies are starry, we would feel pretty sorry. Why have I fallen out just when we're falling in love? There'll be some differences that get us, that naturally upset us. But all the people who have met us, they all say we go hand in glove. We've gotten along so very nicely. And that's my point precisely. Why have I fallen out just when we're falling in love? Why have I fallen out just when we're falling in love? Thank you. Thanks so much. And the next tune that you're going to hear, I'm sorry that you already heard it today. It's Sunny Side of the Street, but it's in a different key, so hopefully it feels different. Yeah, and with the bridge rubato. Yeah. I used to walk in the shade with those blues on parade, but I am no longer afraid. This rover crossed over. I want to grab your coat and get your hat. Leave your worries at the doorstep. Just direct your feet to the sunny side of the street. Can't you hear that pitter-pat? And that happy tune is your step. Life can be so sweet on the sunny side of the street. I used to walk in the shade with those blues on parade, but I'm no longer afraid. This rover crossed over. If I never ever had a single cent, I'd be rich as Rockefeller, with gold dust at my feet on the sunny side of the street. Grab your coat and get your hat. Leave your worries on the doorstep. Just direct your feet. Direct your feet to the sunny side. Can't you hear that pitter-pat? The happy tune is your step. Just direct your feet to the sunny side. I used to walk in the shade with those blues on parade, but I'm no longer afraid. This road that I crossed over, if I never had a cent, I'd be rich as Rockefeller, with gold dust at my feet. On the sunny side, on the sunny side, on the sunny side of the street.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much to Harry. I'm going to do 2 tunes that you've already heard today, so so I hope you enjoy them again. I'm going to start with Just When We're Falling in Love. Oh, and I should mention that in addition to Ella's version, this was sung by one of my other favorite singers, Lucienne Polk. And so I changed the chords at the bridge a little bit. I stole from her, so give her credit for that. You wouldn't be angry with me, would you, if I perhaps misunderstood you? Why have a fallen out just when we're falling in love? And even when skies are getting starry, wouldn't we get to feeling sorry? Why have a fallen out just when we're falling in love? You know that differences will get us and naturally upset us. But people who have met us all say we go hand in glove. We've gotten along so very nicely, baby, and that's my point precisely. Why have a fallen out just when we're falling in love? Why can't I have a falling out when we're falling in love? Upset us, but people who have met us all say we can go
hand in glove. We've gotten along so very nicely, baby, and that's my point precisely. Why have we fallen out just when we're falling in love? Why have we fallen out just when we're falling in love?
Thank you. And this is I'm Beginning to See the Light. And apparently it's Duke Ellington's birthday, so that's wonderful. Yes, applaud for him. I never cared much for moonlit skies, never winked back at fireflies, but now that the stars are in your eyes, I'm beginning to see the light. I never went in for afterglow or candlelight on the mistletoe, but now when you turn the lamp down low, I'm beginning to see the light. Used to ramble through the park, shadow boxing in the dark. Then you came and caused a spark. That's a 4-alarm fire now. I never made love by lantern shine, never saw rainbows in my wine, but now that your lips are burning mine, I'm beginning to see the light. Never cared much for moonlit skies, never winked back at fireflies. Now that the stars are in your eyes, I'm beginning to see the light. Never went in for afterglow or candlelight on the mistletoe, but when you turn the lamp down low, I'm beginning to see the light. Used to ramble through the park, shadow boxing in the dark. Then you came and caused a spark. That's a 4-alarm fire now. I never made love by lantern shine, never saw rainbows in my wine, but now that your lips are burning mine, I'm beginning to see the light. Used to ramble through the park, shadow boxing in the dark. Then you came and caused a spark. That's a 4-alarm fire now. I never made love by lantern shine, I never saw rainbows in my wine, but now that your lips are burning mine, I'm beginning to see the light. I'm beginning to see the light. I'm beginning to see the light. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Nicole Roberts.
I'm sure you all know Mr. Harry Schnipper. Without his vision and without his dream, yeah, he makes dreams come true for a lot of us. Thank you.
Just so you don't think that I was waiting in the wings here, I've been on the National Mall in a sea of people overseeing the third day of what is known as the Big Band Jam. And rather perverse set of events. The George Washington University Choir and Orchestra are performing now as I'm over here at GW. So, it's in good hands, and if you, tomorrow will be the last day, but this competition began about a decade ago. In a conversation I had with the Ella Fitzgerald Foundation, we began to cultivate the concept. And for the last decade, Blues Alley Jazz has been fortunate enough to do a special annual tribute to Ella Fitzgerald. But a year ago, we sat down and said, okay, what can we do really special? And the competition came to mind. And I happened to have a donor who said he'd really like to get behind something like this. And I married the two, the concept and the money, and we came up with this idea that we would create a national competition. We launched the website in September of 2016. We subsequently began a national advertising campaign. By the time we got to the first of the year, we had 40 registrants from as far away as Hong Kong and throughout the United States. And I thought that was just tremendous. It's a great tribute to a great woman, America's First Lady of Song. So, I know, this is the moment everybody's been waiting for. We had 5 finalists. We have 1 winner. We have 1 second prize winner. And we have 3 third place winners. And without further ado, I'm going to commence with the announcements. And I guess we could conceivably hold the applause for last. However, there is a monetary award and a certificate. So, the first of the 3 third place finalists is Alex Hamburger. Alex, congratulations. Thank you so much. The second is our own hometown Washingtonian, hailing from Woodrow Wilson High School in Northwest Washington, D.C., Lauren Kayla. The third place winner, also from suburban Washington, is Nicole Roberts. So we're down to our last 2, and gives me great pleasure because the next announcement brings me full circle in something I've been doing for about 3 decades now, and I'd like to happily announce someone who has been I've worked with now for about a decade. I'd like to announce the second place winner, Danielle Wertz. Danielle was in our Blues Alley Youth Orchestra a decade ago, so it goes to show that if we plant the seeds, they will grow. Okay, I guess we lose only 1 person. I mean, by process of elimination, Alyssa, thank you so much for coming from Chicago. You are our first place winner, and Alyssa will be performing tomorrow night at Blues Alley Jazz in Georgetown.
So